Bonjour! I am in Disneyland Paris and I'm on a mission to find gluten-free food, which right now feels a little bit impossible. I've been to Disneyland Paris many times in my life and I've kind of perfected the art of eating gluten-free here, because let me tell you, the options are limited, but they're not non-existent. So come with me as we find the best food in Disneyland Paris. But before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Let's go!
I've been coming to Disneyland Paris since I was incredibly young, and each time I visited with my family, I was met with so much disappointment when it came to food. The rest of the trip, incredible, but every time it came to food, it wasn't so good. My family brought along lunch boxes of things from England that I could eat, and they would slow cook meals in the hotels while we were out adventuring, which is some seriously honourable and kind effort, and it really did make all the difference. But those times that we did venture into a restaurant within Disneyland, my family would be presented with delicious looking plates of food while I was offered a plate of what looked like microwave baby food, the dreaded allergy-free meal. Now this does exist, but it is free from every single possible allergen, and it is grim. And it's definitely not free in the money sense. No, this meal cost the same as my family's meals, and it was utterly inedible. So let's prevent all of that disappointment and let's be prepared with what we can do so that we can make this the best trip ever and so that food doesn't ruin your family's holiday. Now, before we get to the park goodies, it's essential to prepare for your trip before you go. As a coeliac myself, I know that some countries cater much better to us gluten-free folk than others, and France is unfortunately not one that caters very well, I've found. Disneyland Paris has very, very few offerings, especially if you're comparing it to Walt Disney World, which I recently went to, and I was astounded by the amount of options. So it is essential that you bring your own staples from home to accompany your trip. Things such as bread and crisps, chocolate bars, all the things that can make up a lunch while you're in the park. Before this trip, I packed enough rolls to have one for lunch and one for breakfast every day, meaning I only had to source something for dinner. I bought rice pots from supermarkets and a flask to fill with hot water in the morning. I'll link the one that I bought down below because let me tell you, this bad boy kept my water piping hot all day. And now for the fun bit. I don't know about you, but I love supermarkets. So when I get to Disneyland Paris, I always allocate an evening to venture around the aisles of Auchan in Val d'Europe, which is a massive shopping centre, which is one stop away on the train from Disneyland Paris, or it's also a short taxi. Auchan does have a gluten-free section which offers biscuits, pasta, bread, and of course you can find some phenomenal naturally gluten-free cheeses. I recommend the Port Salut, hams and other goodies to eat with these. This brings me on to one big tip. If you can find yourself a hotel with self-catering, then do it. I normally go for an Airbnb that has a kitchen. It makes the world of difference in preparing meals while in Paris. It also means you can keep your cheeses and your hams in your fridge and nibble on them when you fancy. But it's not the end of the world if you don't. If you've got just a normal hotel, that's okay. We can work with that, but just try to aim for food with minimal preparation needed. If you are in a Disneyland Paris hotel and you have bought breakfast, you can ask to get some gluten-free options. So they will bring out some loaves, they'll bring out some biscuits. However, this is just the stuff that you can buy in the supermarket. So if you're considering whether or not it's worth paying the money to stay in a Disneyland Paris hotel to get that breakfast, then I would personally say no. However, if you are already doing that, then great, make sure you take advantage of that. So you've got your essentials and a few French classics from the supermarket. Let's head into the parks. We're going to start in the main Disneyland Paris park and see what we can find. As you enter the park, on the right-hand side, you will find a little pink shop, and this doesn't seem to have a name, but it's like confectionery, sweet treats. If you go into there, you will find the goods. So you can't have everything in here, and I would always double check to make sure that something is sans gluten. Make sure that it is still gluten-free when you are there. However, in here, you can have marshmallows, you can have fudge, you can have macaroons, which is so exciting. There's also other tubs of popcorn and things like that that you can check are gluten-free, and they should be, because unfortunately not all the popcorn in the carts is gluten-free. Again, not all the macaroons in Disneyland Paris are gluten-free, but in here you are safe to actually have those, and I did try the macaroons and the marshmallows myself.
But I did get a marshmallow with chocolate on, which was €2.60. We'll try it. It's good. So that's the chocolate bit. I feel like it was good because of the chocolate. Yeah, the rest is just a marshmallow. It's okay. Not bad if you need some sugar. That's not horrendous. But the really exciting thing is these macaroons, which frankly are beautiful. They have them in lots of different flavors. Now, I have heard that they have other macaroons in Disneyland Paris that are not gluten-free. I checked and these are sans gluten. These macaroons, they want to buy 5, get 1 free discount. So it ended up being 11 euros, which is really expensive, but macaroons in general are expensive. So we're gonna try them. They have different images printed onto them, which are beautiful, and it feels a shame to eat them. They are in an array of flavors. I think one is lemon, one is vanilla, one is spread. I think chocolate, I don't know. One is passion fruit, and one is raspberry. I might be missing one. But we're gonna start with Stitch. I'm not gonna eat these all in one go because they are too expensive for that. Do I wanna start with Stitch? That one looks like lemon.
No, lemon was
Donald?
Stitch was like vanilla.
Okay, I think this is vanilla. So we're gonna eat Stitch, which I feel really bad about, but that is delicious. I know a lot of people don't like macaroons, but these are really good. I think you could also buy them individually for 2 euros each. These are good. 5 out of 5. So good. So good. Obviously incredibly expensive, but delicious. I haven't had a macaroon in years because it is really hard to find gluten-free ones, but they are amazing. So those are good, and the marshmallow's okay. It's not bad by any means, but it's just a marshmallow.
Next up, it's time for something more substantial. So we're going to head to Last Chance Cafe in Frontierland. Now, this is where you want to go if you want some proper food. Now, you have options for vegans here as well. You have a vegan chili, which is apparently incredible. I'll tell you why it's apparently incredible in a moment, and why I don't know for certain. You also have the turkey leg, which is also gluten-free. If I didn't mention, the vegan chili is also gluten-free. It's amazing. I've also been told that the nachos are also gluten-free as well, although I would double check that because they've now switched them to Doritos nachos, and Doritos in the UK are a may contain, so double check when you're there. But I have been told that they are still gluten-free, but just double check, triple check, just make sure. The last thing you want is to be ill when you are over there. So I went there, so excited to get this meal in the evening. It was 6:15 and I was ready for dinner. I had eaten my lunch, my little packed lunch, and I was so excited to finally try this vegan chili poured over nachos with a side of turkey leg. And as I got there, I realised, unfortunately, they had already closed. They close at 6 o'clock, so make sure that you go, and make sure you go before that. I have been told that those items are incredible. One that I haven't checked out, but I have heard good reviews from, is the Cowboy Cookout, where you can apparently also get some Cajun sausages and some chicken with barbecue sauce. So that's also somewhere that you can check out as well. I have been told, however, that the chips are not gluten-free, so instead they give you a salad, which is a little bit rubbish. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Now, before we wrap things up in the main park, yep, that's right, there really isn't much, honestly. The last place that you might want to check out on a nice hot and sunny day is Café de la Brousse, where you can get pineapple whip. This is the only place you can get pineapple whip, and it is indeed gluten-free. However, I will say every single time I visited, it has been closed, and it's very rarely open, so you might want to keep checking back and see if you can find it. Now, unfortunately, that is where we wrap up for the main park. What I will say is if you are willing to scour through the restaurant's menus and you don't mind paying a lot of money for very, very few options and having to pick apart your meal so that you can take some of the gluten bits off of your plate and have a meal, then there are some other options in terms of the restaurants. You can go to Captain Jack's or something like that. However, what I will say is it is incredibly expensive, and in my opinion, unless you're going there for the atmosphere, it's unfortunately just not really worth it. And I've actually much preferred bringing my own food into the park and just going on more rides, to be honest, because frankly, it really isn't that good in terms of restaurants. And Disneyland Paris, if you're watching, please give us more options in the restaurants, because it's a very, very hefty price that they charge for these. And I would love to go to Captain Jack's more than anything. I honestly really want to go there, but I just can't justify paying that price for such a measly selection of gluten-free food. But anyway, let's not dwell on the negatives. Let's head on over to Walt Disney Studios Park. Recently, Walt Disney Studios has welcomed a new section, Avengers Campus. Now, Walt Disney Studios has so much to offer, including Avengers Campus. However, it doesn't offer much in terms of gluten-free food. However, we do have a couple of options. So let's start with the one we've all been waiting for. Oh yeah, that's right. We're going to go to Super Diner to see the phenomenal and extensive list of food. I'm just kidding, it's literally just cherry tomatoes.
This Super Diner is super small. It's absolutely dinky. Oh my God. All right, I see a lot of sandwiches.
I see a lot of wheat.
I see a lot of wheat.
You gonna have some cherry tomatoes?
Oh, there we go. So
Lovely, it's sorted.
gluten-free option here is the cherry tomatoes. Maybe even the side salad.
You can have the brownie.
I can't have cookie dough and I can't have chocolate fudge.
You can't have chocolate fudge?
No.
What about sachet de fruit?
Oh, yeah, that's another gluten-free option. A nice fruit bag. Wonderful.
Honestly, I don't know what you're complaining.
cherry tomatoes in a fruit bag. Yum, yum.
Okay, we can do better than that. So we're going to move over to the infamous green chip van. And I promise you, on gluten-free forums, this is genuinely the stuff of legend. The gluten-free chip van, it moves around in Walt Disney Studios, but if you go up to them and you ask if the chips are sans gluten, then you found the right one. Well, if they say yes, that is. If they say no, then probably don't eat them. So let's take a look and see how they are.
Do you want sauce?
Ketchup, please. Merci.
Oh ja, mince zwei.
Green food truck fries. My expectations are through the roof. A classic chip. Very good. Hot. Gluten-free. I'll take it. Do you want to try one?
Yeah, I'll try. Ow. No, God. It's frying it. It's frying it. Ow.
Good?
Ah!
One thing you do find in Walt Disney Studios in certain seasons, like the winter season, is all of these booths that look like a Christmas market, and they have a whole selection of foods down here. Everything from sausages to different cheese-related dishes, and also a crepe place at the end, which does do buckwheat pancakes. However, you do need to check on the day that you're there as to whether or not they are suitable for you, because there are really, really mixed reports on whether or not these are safe for celiacs. So if in doubt, give it a miss, but it is something you can ask when you're there. You'll find these food booths just outside Ratatouille in the little Paris area. Alongside these food booths in the Parisian Ratatouille area, you will also find Bistro Chez Remy, where you can get a gluten-free meal. Woohoo! However, it is very expensive, so it depends whether or not that's something you would like to afford. However, it is gluten-free. You can get a gluten-free meal here. They can actually do that, so enjoy a proper sit-down meal. Unfortunately, that is it for Walt Disney Studios, so I would highly recommend bringing along your own packed lunch. I did find a few areas to sit down which were undercover. I would recommend going and taking a look at those. They were in the Avengers Campus area, so just bring your own snacks, go prepared, because if you turn up on the day without this information, you're going to be so incredibly disappointed. But with this information, knowledge is power, and you can do it. As you're heading out the park, you will find Disney Village. Now, there used to be a Planet Hollywood here, which actually had some good gluten-free options, but unfortunately that has left us, which means we are very, very limited in what you can eat in Disney Village as well. You will find a few little bits here and there, such as at the steakhouse, you can have a chicken breast with jacket potato, but honestly, who wants that? It's so bland. One place you can potentially take a look at is McDonald's. Now, you will need to double check when you're there. On the actual touchscreens, you can check to see the ingredients, and I did manage to find some gluten-free fries. However, once again, I would also double check because there are mixed reports about them sharing the same fryers as gluten-containing things. But when I was there, I did ask the chefs as well, and they did confirm that the chips would be gluten-free. So I had my second chips of the day after visiting Walt Disney Studios. And that is us done. Yep. Really, genuinely, there's so few items available in Disneyland Paris for gluten-free people. Unfortunately, it is really, really limited. So please, once again, Disneyland Paris, offer us something better because these are still the same limited options that I had 20 years ago when I was going to Disneyland Paris. We can do better than this. I believe in you. Please cater to us better. But in the meantime, now you have this information. Do with it as you will. And as well as that, if you are staying in one of the Disneyland Paris hotels, you can of course check and see if there's anything you can have on the menus in there as well. If you want a video that goes into greater detail about each individual hotel and what they can offer, let me know down below. Or if you just want any more information on Disneyland Paris, just let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've enjoyed the video, and please give this video a thumbs up. I also have the whole vlogged trip over on my YouTube channel as well as the Walt Disney World holiday on there too. So enjoy, binge the Disney videos as you will. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.